Thank you again, Daniel, for joining me in this interview. And just to quickly introduce you, I'm sure you can do your introduction in a bit. Daniel is in his second retirement right now. That's super amazing. I wish I can learn how you do that as well. And he is a community manager for a few communities. Right now, I've seen you in so many communities, and the biggest one is on Facebook, I believe. And Daniel, maybe you can introduce yourself to the people who is going to be watching this interview.
Ruben, thanks for inviting me. Such an honor to be able to speak to you. So I am mostly an entrepreneur throughout my whole career. I think I started my first venture-backed business in when I was 19. That failed, but I ended up building up quite a number of things, mostly around the digital line. And I had a previous business which I exited many, many years ago. The last couple of years, my primary business was focusing on three things. We have a software development design house. We have a production company, and which you are quite familiar with. And we have an oil filter company. And due to health, I just in June 2019, I decided to just let go of everything and was traveling until COVID. On the side, I run primarily two things. One is TEDx Scale. TEDx Scale is a hobby of us. We managed to grow it to one of the largest TEDx in the world with about 5,000 participants.
Oh.
The waiting list was at its peak was about 10,000 people waiting list. The only reason we were stuck at 5,000 because we can't find a venue that was larger.
Oh, okay.
If not, we'll try to do, because running in the stadium was actually quite challenging in terms of acoustic. It's not a rock concert, so talks is very hard for that. The other thing that I run at the moment is I took back control of a community I started a long time back. It's called the Entrepreneur and Startup in Malaysia. In December 2018, and that was about 8,000 members. And I helped to grow it to about 100,000 members at the moment.
So I'm really interested to talk to you about like community building and how you go about it, and how other people can also go out about and build their own communities, right? So in regards to the entrepreneurs and startups in Malaysia, are you the sole like admin on the group, or?
It takes a village to go and run a community. We have a lot of people involved in it, whether formally, informally, and etc. And there is a lot of administrative work to be done by me, but I'm also very grateful. There's I think close to about 30 people who are helping to moderate and etc. We get about 200, like 100 to 200 new posting per day.
A day. Wow.
To approve. So that takes up a lot of a chunk of our effort and time.
Oh, wow. So did this community get started off like by accident, or is something that you already had a goal in mind? You want to start this off, build it into the size it is today?
I think usually, like predominantly, I think like let's say after my first retirement, I was actually very bored, and part of it, that's why I got involved in a lot of the startup community stuff, because I didn't know many founders in Malaysia, so I thought like, hey, you know what? Let's just try to meet up with new interesting people and etc. So that just became a thing, and I think over the years I've been actually one way or another been trying to support the ecosystem in Malaysia, either from community builder point of view, angel investor point of view, or just like helping to share or mentor or share what I've learned, etc. Hopefully that can be some help for some of the people in the community to just have a leapfrog. I mean, a lot of people are doing a lot better than me in terms of their businesses and etc. But especially just in the start, I think there's always a lot of issues, and if people can go and help to share what challenges they are facing, and we can try to help them out to just like navigate it through so they can actually have a faster growth.
Okay, okay. Okay, so I'm not sure if this will touch into more of the sensitive side of things, right? But do you monetize from a community like that, or what are some ways you self-sustain yourself? You know,
Okay, so being retired, I actually don't need to monetize. That's the thing.
how you
Uh,
do it?
no, so yeah, that's a very funny thing, because people always ask that. Like, but I do think that you need to try to have some monetization to create some sustainability over it. TEDx, for example, we ran it. Uh, Now we are on 12th year, and one of the reason it only can function because we we can't fund it our entire life,
Yeah.
as the group grows or whatever. So like Facebook also views Facebook or Meta also views monetization as one of the key elements to actually create long-term sustainability for the community. So but you need to find ways of actually do that in a very win-win-win situation. So it's not only just you and the partners or etc. It's also finding things that suits the community members, which is actually more important. So over the years, we always been getting people who want to like, oh yeah, let's advertise in your group and help to share. But we've been very selective actually. So that's why I mean I'm very fortunate because I get to try to be very selective over it. Uh, not many people can do that, and I do acknowledge that. But I think I just want to just highlight like one of the Techstars director, Oko. He did mention like, yeah, if you don't monetize it, like you can, there's only X amount of like time, energy, and whatever you can do. You can't give your soul to the community. Uh, or like you got so much.
Yeah.
That's the reason a lot of younger community leaders come out, and they will like very gung ho for the first 1 or 2 years. Then after that, they realize I can't feed myself. I need to do something else. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, do you think people should start communities or they should join like existing ones? Like you know, there's this advice in the marketing industry, right, where you know businesses should start building their own communities for their own audiences, and that makes it easier for them to market their products and services. Do you think people should build that, or should they just join existing communities?
I think it really depends on the product or whatever they are trying to do. So if there's an existing community out there, that's the best case. But everything is actually a community. Is everything is pretty much a community basically. Give you a good reason. Like I have a hiking group of I think about 50 over people, and that's a small community. There are other hiking groups out there. Sometimes we just join them and etc. But sometimes it doesn't directly fit our need in terms of scheduling and etc. So so it's good to just like cultivate your own, but at the same time, there is a bigger part community to join to be part of. And like let's say for example, even like we join other communities, but we're also part of that, like the Bukit, like because let's say we hike at Bukit Kiara or Sarah or whatever, we are part of that community. We're there to make sure things are clean. We are make sure people don't do illegal logging or stuff like that, pick up trash, you know. And like sometimes we share, oh look, we found like this interesting mushroom or flower or something. This is how you got. So there's different layers of it. It's not like you just start one and then that's it. Like one of the things I view according to Meta, we are one of the largest entrepreneur community in Southeast Asia. And and I don't know lah, like that's according to them. So I'm not claiming it. And we are one of the most active one basically. And one of the things that I try to do is because I think like there's a bigger community out there in Southeast Asia. It's not just Malaysia alone. We are entrepreneur and startup in Malaysia. And but we'll try to do our best to just connect them with folks from Cambodia, from Indonesia, from Singapore. We recently did a trip together with a whole bunch of founders to visit Carousel.
Oh, okay, in Singapore. Right.
And they got to see went to Quest Venture, where it was Carousel's first office. There was just a table, to visit Carousel's current office, which is at the GSK building. I think with over 2,000 over staff. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, but it's and get to hang out and chit chat with the founders and etc. And that's just really connecting and being part of a bigger community out there. So in a sense that you have to do both actually. You have to cultivate your own community, but at the same time you also have to be an active member in other community and even the bigger community in general.
So how would you go about building a community if I use for example your hiking group, right? Do you have like a actual community on Facebook or something like that? How would you go about building a community?
So I'd like to quote one of my favorite like community organizers, Pixie Siga. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
the head of community for Lazada, and really amazing girl. And the at the end of the day, if I were to paraphrase it, because I don't think I can get the exact quote, like you don't actually build it, you just join it basically. So community already exists. Like also, so the hiking group started off like, yeah, me and my friend when I hike, then we chill more people or etc. It just starts from there, and then it slowly snowballs over there. So let's say if you are building a product of for digital marketers and etc., there are existing digital marketers. There are WhatsApp groups, there are Facebook groups, there are even like people just meet up for yum cha, just talk about digital marketing and etc. So few ways is join them, and if not facilitate them, and like I don't view I don't view myself as the owner of that community. I just view myself as the custodian, like at this point in time. So it's a way to just think to help to facilitate more conversation among community members.
Okay. Do brands approach you and say like, hey, can I run a sponsored ad inside the community?
Yeah. So that's where the monetization earlier part comes in, basically.
I
And
see.
yeah, we've been very fortunate. We've been working with very amazing partners. But I told you before, it has to be win-win and win when it comes to partnership. Uh,
Okay.
and we are quite selective. We cannot, we don't allow like anyone to just like do. One of the as prime example is we're working with a couple of banks, and they want to work with SMEs, and they have a product that actually is really beneficial for people who just starting up and setting up their bank account. And usually, I think you and I know like uh, historically setting up a bank account, you have to go to the branch, you have to get a nominee, someone to recommend you to join that. You have to get the company stamps, all this kind of stuff. And now you don't. It's so easy. So I thought it was something very beneficial, something very cool. So we decided to take them on and then help them promote. And yeah, and looking at the response from the comment from our community, it was like some was like, hey, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? This saves so much of my time. Yeah, so we tend to try to be selective and work with partners like this.
I see, I see. So speaking about platforms, right? Your big platform is on Facebook, right? Do you think there's any other platforms that people should go on, or you have experience in your own?
I think this is I don't know whether this is like most marketers what they would think, but this is where I would think about. Uh,
Okay.
Go where your audience is, basically. Go where your audience hangs out. Like if you're doing something more memey, you're doing something like a bit more fun, Reddit might be it. If you're doing something a bit more professional, a lot of people tend to hang out more on LinkedIn. Just figure out where they hang out and what is the. I'm in a group of all my school alumni. I
Okay.
help out a bit,
Okay.
and uh, to give you an illustration, they have left school before I was born.
Okay.
WhatsApp is a thing for them. Like they don't do Facebook. WhatsApp is a thing. Right.
Mm, mm.
So there are, of course, pros and cons for different tools. Like if you're
Yeah.
doing some things, like some people prefer Slack, Discord, all this kind of stuff. But it really depends the cadence, the tone, the comfortability of your audience, basically. So I don't have a preference. I At this point in time, I'm on Facebook because it's the where a lot of people manage. But at the same time, you need to try to really explore different platforms. Even just to share in terms of something that Facebook has done their WhatsApp community, and I'm helping to organize that in our school alumni just to so like, oh, you left school in 1974.
Oh, so you have a
Okay.
subgroup for
Yeah,
that?
you can have subgroups and other stuff for that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's very interesting. So what are some mistakes that people should avoid when they interact with a community? I mean, I'm sure you've seen your fair share, right? People hard selling, people doing all sorts of stuff. But what are the biggest mistakes that people should avoid when they mingle with a community?
I think if most people don't have the uh, empathy towards the community. Up to a certain point, the ego always tend to get in the way, and etc. And that's something I'm also still learning how to be more humble, how try to understand from the perspective, because as the community grow, it gets really diverse. And when it gets really diverse, then you all of a sudden it's like, hey, this simple thing you also don't know. But then no, but then later I'll try to explore and try to deep a bit. There's so many times that people will ask very seem stupid question in the community, and then as of course we having a lot more experience, we're like, oh, yes, this stupid thing like that. Then you start to dig deeper. It's like, actually, why are you asking this, and what problem are you trying to solve? And then you realize, oh, actually, you don't understand the question yet. This is actually what you're asking. Can you ask this instead or not? Because like this is actually you are asking something totally different, but your because everyone thinks that we are all equal, we all have the same level of knowledge. But a lot of people don't. Some people come from a very young time, and we all start from zero. We all when we start, and it's all the same with different community. I rock climb a lot and etc. And some people don't know, like, oh, this is the etiquette of it and etc. This is something you pick up along the way, but some people don't really know. So it's always good to just have a quick reset to try to figure out, like, okay, this is what X, Y, and Z trying to achieve. They might not share the same level of English as you guys, or comprehension in like, for example, a lot of time people ask, oh, I need help, IT help. What is IT? IT can mean,
Big, right?
yeah, so big. But for them, oh, I built a website, it's IT ma. Like that. And then it's your role to just really to just guide them through and educate them, like, hey, oh yeah, yeah, this is IT, but I think you're looking for more specifically this thing, you know.
Right. So maybe you help them to think and help them to rephrase their thoughts also.
So it's very humbling to figure out, like, because again yesterday was a interesting. Yesterday we had a fintech meetup with closed off fintech meetup, and with a lot of the top players and banks and and one of the cool things that Redang, the story was basically like the community in Redang for years wanting to requesting them to actually bring an ATM machine to Redang. Then the banks were wondering, like, hey, this is not safe, you know. I like this is super not safe. It's like there's a bank in the middle of nowhere. We need to get like armor truck to carry like money from the mainland to Redang and extra. Yeah, that's like, do you know how the community solved that problem?
Yeah, no idea.
They give the ATM card to one person, give the PIN number, ask them to go to the mainland and withdraw. So every time there's one person that goes to that with a whole bunch of ATM card, come back with a whole stack of cash.
So using the power of people.
Yeah, using the power of people. So the level of comprehension is so different, because it's like Bank Negara or the banks were thinking like, yeah, this is not safe. But on the other hand, the community is thinking so other things. So you have to learn to empathize with that. Like if the banks were originally like, understood that story is like so different. Then now the Bank Negara is coming back and like, look, we got a better way. Like all those digital wallet, e-payment, try that. Then they are so reluctant because they want cash. Like, you know, they don't understand that. So so Bank Negara have to start learning to build trust with them and try to contribute to the community and ask them to talk to the KOLs. The KOLs are the penghulus or the leaders over there. I ask them to adopt e-wallet, and that has changed the economy quite a fair bit because. But it's sort of sad lah, because that guy who travels to the mainland, withdraw money and come back, all of a sudden lost his business. But yeah, that's technology for you, basically. But it makes things a lot easier.
All right, I'm not gonna take any more of your time, but I just want to end with one last question, right? So, let's just say I'm an entrepreneur. I run a small business, and I'm looking to tap into the power of community to market myself, my products and services. What should I do? How would you recommend someone to start?
But first thing, find where your audience are hanging out with. If you run a restaurant, it's useless for you to go and start a food channel or something like that just about your restaurant. You should do that, but really find things that like they hang out at KL Foodie, or they hang out at some Facebook group that talks about food and etc. And find ways to promote in a way that is not really promoting. Like there's always a lot of things like attention, creating attention, curiosity, and etc. And the attention gap is like very high. So I'm using restaurant as an example because
I think I've seen some restaurants asking questions in the group.
yeah, because it's easy to understand. But at the same time, if you look at some of the brands that manage to leverage this a lot, so they My Burger Lab, for example, you know, there's a reason why the bun is black color. The bun is black color because it's very Instagrammable. And people's like, hey, shit, I want to go and try the black bun. Then if you notice the when you order their lab burger, the say cheeseburger, the cheese is actually it's a crispy cheese that is floated outside.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the cheese is not the whole thing. You know, they actually purposely
Edge it out a bit.
put it out a bit so you can take photo of the cheese.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's a trick. You know, it's not even so. It's usually burger is like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, all stacked together. No, what they did is they pushed the cheese outside.
Okay.
So you can see the cheese. You know.
Okay.
So you do stuff that taps on the behavior of your audience, basically.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why some of the shops that go really viral, because like they will do like, oh, that cheese drip thing, or most spicy chicken, or etc. I think a good book that gives you inspiration of it, since we're talking about marketing, actually Purple Cow by Seth Godin.
Okay.
So the concept is really step one, identify where people hang out. Step two, be a part of it. Don't just join, just be a part of it, because you have to contribute to the community. Okay. Step three, create a purple cow that meaning some that because cows are boring, they're brown, they're black, they're brown. But all of a sudden you see a purple cow, then you're like, shit, I need to share to the world. Create something that is unique and interesting, and if they solve their problem, and that's always a good thing to just do. So I would say that 3-step, and remember, step 2 is very important. Don't forget to. You just don't go in and like posting, this is my restaurant. Be part of the community, basically. That carries a lot of weight, because people know, hey, Ruben is the guy that shares a lot about audio equipment. Then all of a sudden he shares about this thing. It's like I'll take notice more. You know.
Yeah. So it's taking that long-term process, and rather doing that compared to doing that short-term process of just going there and hard sell immediately. So I think it's about having a bit more patience when leveraging on a community like that, you know.
Yeah, it's a long-term game. It's definitely a long-term game. I'll just also put a bit more context over it. Algorithmically wise, I have no validation of this. I know we were part of the Facebook Accelerator program, and I am a certified meta community builder. But as a developer, as someone who builds products and whatever, I would want to highlight people that usually get more interaction, basically. So that's why so I will design the algorithm to highlight like, hey, you know, this person tend to get more likes for their post or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will try to. So if you are just doing it for your own stuff, not really a good thing lah. But if you're constantly contributing, then people also have that name recognition. Oh, I see Ruben, I always recognize that name, so I want to see his post and etc. Or I see Lily every time post about running, I would want to see about her post and so on. I think I believe that this is conspiracy level lah. Okay, so I have no validation. I think like companies like Facebook or whatever will try to highlight people who are a lot more active in the community.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I mean, I would build it that way also. I mean, the way you mentioned, right? If I was to be Facebook, like, so yeah, maybe that's how it's done also.
Again, I clarify, I got no. I think Facebook is run by a lot of very smart people.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would think this is a small criteria that they won't tell people, lah, basically.
True. Not people will start abusing it also. All right. Thank you again for chatting with me. I think I've learned a lot of stuff, and I think the viewers will also find a lot of value. And listening from the inside, that you have, right, running a community like that, right. And I hope people will also follow your 3-step process, right, to be more patient, and of course to go for the long term game when marketing themselves in communities. So thank you again, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate for having me, and hope you guys have a very interesting and fruitful journey in terms of building your own community and being part of other communities.